Call the rec committee meeting to order at 6:08 on Monday, November 6th. Second on that?
I second.
All approved?
Aye.
All right, let's do members present. We'll start down the very end with Ben.
Ben Norton.
Mary Anastasia.
Courtney Boudreau.
John Regan.
Dave Broll.
Mark Sand.
Cindy Courier, COA liaison.
Approval of previous minutes meeting. I think we're gonna skip on that.
Table those, I
Table
failed
those?
to get them out in a timely manner. My apologies.
Nope. That's okay.
And that's two sets.
Yes.
Correspondence. Before we go on that, 2 sets. Would that be 2 separate, or the month before, or is that
Is the October and the special meeting
Okay,
at the
good.
field house.
That's what
yes.
And you sent that information from that?
Yeah,
Yes.
from Craig,
Citizen that was there. Yep.
Craig Collins was the
Yep.
gentleman, so.
We didn't get the other guy's name, but,
He is.
He didn't really speak,
okay, okay.
and he was with Craig, and Craig did go and talk.
Okay, cool. Bills and claims.
The last warrant was warrant number 9, which had Mellow and the water bill. So those are the only 2 that came in, and nothing so far this month. And where it's just the 6th, I'm figuring, next week.
Whatever happened with, does anyone know if we paid the painting folks for the lines?
That was submitted.
Yeah.
We were waiting on the W-9, which John sent over, and to the best of my knowledge, that information was received. I spoke with Annette. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank on, is it Lynn? I'm drawing a blank on her name. I see her face, but I can't remember her name.
Are you talking about Ann?
Ann, yes.
Ann McCown.
Ann was out on that Thursday.
Okay.
So, but Annette seemed to think that it was
Cool.
submitted, so
We've done our part.
we've
Yeah.
done our part, yes.
That is very good. Applications for fields, court, field houses, or other.
Yes, so, sorry, I'm trying to log into this and it's not letting me.
Well, while you're working on that, the only other element we talked about last time for bills, I just didn't know if you had those yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
We did have an application from the Council of Aging for ping pong for the field house. If I can get into my rec, I will tell you the dates. And just as an aside, while I'm working on this, so the Council on Aging has put in a request for dates for ping pong for the field house. So I, like in my own private account, went in. So I held the dates. Well, first I did not hold the dates. There was an application, so I was like, I'm gonna apply for the same time, the same thing, see what happens. And it went through, like as a request. And then when I held the dates for the COA and then I requested, it said it's not available. So, I mean, it's possible that back when soccer and football were doing their thing, maybe I must have held dates for one of them, and that's why they got that message.
More importantly, it's
But it works.
rectified now, and we
It works.
Yeah.
So as
Good.
long as the dates are not held, which I'll be more cognizant of that, people can apply for, the same slot.
Fantastic, thank you.
So there's that. I'm sorry, I don't know why it's,
I did a I didn't do I did January through May, is what I did.
yes, no, and that's not the problem, I just can't, my
She's just not logging.
my login just won't work. Check spam.
I have one somewhere, but I have no idea what it is.
Okay, hold on. I think what's kind of tricky too about MyRec is like, the only thing I can imagine is that's happening is like we use MyRec, but then like the town of Newburyport does too, for example, and if like I'm wondering if they're not the same logins, but it's the same system, so I don't know if like one of my things got messed up because I had to make an account for Newburyport, but this is the Newbury one, so I don't know.
So it looks like it's, excuse me, it's just ping pong?
Um,
Now she's in.
now I just had to reset my password.
One moment, please.
Yes, okay, so Newbury COA requested dates, January 9th, 2024 to May 30th, 2024, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 AM to 1 PM, in the and those are, yep, Fieldhouse, and that is the only request.
And it's inclusive of those dates? Okay.
Tuesdays and Thursdays
Yep,
from
Nine.
January
January
9th through May,
May 30th,
May 30th,
9 to 1,
9 to 1?
yes.
And then we'll be heading out for pickleball.
Would you keep them open at some point, if there's a rain day, open up the?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Do I need to, no, how would we do that?
Well, right now, I think with the winter weather, I'm not really concerned, but going forward,
You're talking about in the,
say spring,
right,
be able to book both. So if it's a rainy day and those who do not want to participate in pickleball would have the option of going inside and playing
ping pong
ping pong or indoor pickleball with low ceilings.
and tiny paddles.
Okay.
So essentially, you're doing sort of a winter indoor sport. And if you can still do outside during that period of time, if a nice warm January day or February day, you'll use the outside still too, right? Yes, cool, awesome.
I've survived 31 degrees.
Yeah.
You didn't take pictures either. That's why I'm not talking.
I didn't go there that day.
It's the only way to
because it
slow you
was- it
down.
had been cold.
Was there snow or was it just cold?
There was
No,
frost.
there's frost, but well, now it's, because the clock changed, so that's another thing about
That's- yeah.
tomorrow, it's kind of gonna be tricky. But
Mm.
once
You'll
the sun
see.
hits it, it literally is dry, ready for play.
So the
5
surface,
minutes.
have you been on it when it's frosty or anything like that? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, and slippery and.
It is
yeah,
slippery,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
Well, no, it's slippery when it's wet.
Usually when we get there, it's slippery.
Yeah, all you need is just a hint of sunshine, and sun's going lower, and so all that stuff will change. I don't see
Okay.
any reason why we couldn't go out there and play.
I mean, we were gonna stop this the end of September, so we've gotten 2 more months out of it, so.
We've had some good days, I mean,
There'll
31
be good
degrees,
days
there
in
were 14
December.
people, yeah.
There'll be good days in
Yeah.
December, there'll be, you know.
Ping pong's, just to point out, that window is 4 hours,
Yeah.
9 to 1,
On purpose, yeah.
on purpose, because we only have.
Finding the balls after they go on the floor is really the
Well,
time.
no, sending over to pick them up, yeah. It's, the thought being, it's gonna be so easy to set up and break down that as long as someone's there at 9 and someone's there to lock the door. We had talked about, Cindy and I had talked about putting another lock on that inside door. So the kitchen door, I'll call it the kitchen.
There isn't a lock on that?
There is not a lock on that. And
That could go to
James.
James, yeah. I think they do.
Probably not it seems excessive, but that way we don't have to put the tables in there and lock them. The paddles, we'll probably leave the net, I have no idea what they look like, but we'll probably put the paddles away. We can put them in the pickleball box. So there's a lock on that stuff, but,
So right now, you guys are, if you do get a lock on the kitchen door, what will you put in there?
the two tables.
Oh, you'll be able to slide those in?
will roll into
Okay,
there,
cool.
yeah.
Awesome.
Because yoga's been, we've had,
It's getting tight now.
yeah, there's like, we've got 10 regulars now, I'd say, in yoga.
And there has been 12 in the past, so
Yes.
it gets tight.
And I'm the first one on the porch because I'm the male.
They kick you out.
Yeah.
Oh, really? You could?
No,
You're in the
it's-
bathroom.
That,
Downward dog.
yeah.
You could put a TV in the basement, we could open that door, and then you could just televise it for the people downstairs. An overflow lot, basically.
The basement.
Sorry.
I like it.
I'm always thinking,
I
I'm
think
always
that's a
thinking.
very unused piece of property.
I'm always thinking.
Okay.
All right, should we make a motion to accept that?
I make a motion to accept the application by the Council of Aging for use of the field house for pickleball as the designated times on the
Ping
application. Ping pong.
Ping pong. From, it's January 9th
Ninth.
through May
30th.
May 30th. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any conversation on that? Oh, I do. So who, do you have to have a certain, I'm not gonna say this, I don't wanna put this lightly.
You want to play?
Let's say I was 30 years old. Could I play?
I don't turn anyone away.
Okay, good.
Let's say you're 30 years old, do you know the rules?
What rules are we talking about?
Rules of ping pong.
I can play.
I'm looking
Are you
for
claiming to be
someone teach
30?
a little
I'm just
bit.
asking.
No, we've already had this
Spread the
conversation
ball back
before.
and forth.
We've already had this conversation once before, and you really ruined my life.
Because he's on my
Never
newsletter
forget.
list.
Okay, any
So
more
no,
discussion?
I wouldn't turn anyone away.
Okay, any other discussion? So let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, it's done.
Then can we allocate money to make sure the lock gets put in? Or will DPW just do it?
I will ask UPW and they, yeah, I'm sure.
You'll do that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You gonna call him and just email him?
I just email him. He's really, really responsive, so.
Yeah.
And if it, you know, if it's $100 or whatever the lock costs, they'll hit us up for it. And I think, it'll just come out of our budget. So we don't have any others.
Do not.
Mark, no others?
No, no others.
All right. Updates on old business. Master plan update. We went, I think everybody but Courtney and Ben, we did a sort of a walkthrough.
So I
Mark
missed
took-
that too, I'm so sorry.
No. I was sick, so Mark sort of,
I walked ahead of everybody, how's that?
yeah. So basically we walked through and had discussions about where things were. Mark showed us an area that I had never been on, and John and I were both like blown away at how beautiful it was, that little corner up there. We
Point.
Yeah. And,
And
you
the
know,
secret one?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
a secret.
Oh, no,
It's
that's
on
a
TV
secret
now.
one. I showed him one that, not a lot of people know, but a secret one.
Don't tell anybody else.
I'm not gonna say anything to anybody, but it was informative.
For the woods.
We had some
Like the river.
people stop by while we were having the discussion, they were interested in everything, and one of the comments was that the gentleman would like to see more softball fields, because I think he's a coach during
Yeah,
girls'
and he's a
clubs.
father of two
Yeah.
girls.
Yeah, and I've been in that situation too, looking around for, so, one thing we brought up is that we have all that land in Kent Way, and it'd be nice to have that someday, I mean, but walked through things, he showed us there was lots of room for the, I think we decided to change the direction maybe, or he was talking about changing the direction.
Yeah, the orientation, right
Orientation
now
of
it's
the
like kind
tot
of,
lot.
he wants to expand it.
Yeah.
Elongated.
Yeah.
To-
And it looked like just from where his location was, I don't think anyone's gonna get killed with a, with a soccer or lacrosse ball, but he said that we could put something up and,
Like a fence or something.
yeah, he said the kids will still try to get it over the fence to knock people off.
But then it's intentional, and so the accidental
Yeah,
um,
straight
projectile
balls.
coming in be greatly reduced.
Yeah,
There seems to be at least 15, almost 20 yards between the sideline and where that could be, particularly if it's elongated. John put up a good point about keeping that whole area fenced in, the play area fenced in, which would mean we could take down the split rail fence, and that would make that area, the split rail fence would not become another attraction to the kids, and that would serve as a block for people accidentally falling over the edge.
yeah,
And that would
Yeah.
a fenced-in place would be much appreciated from
Yeah.
parents.
yeah, that's what I was saying.
I wanted to ask
Yeah.
your opinion, because
Yeah.
as a
Yeah,
grandparent,
that's key.
I've fallen victim to one of those.
Yeah,
The
key.
other one.
Now, a quick
And then the
question.
fence can also be extended too.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
we're doing some sort of wooden block.
Well, the fence would have could have a wind block on one side,
Yeah, an
which
extension
is a
to,
nice idea, but if you're a parent, it's hard to see into the court. That we can work out, but more importantly, we can, there's ways, if you did a 4-foot chain link fence around it, to have extenders put on, so during seasonal, say lacrosse, you could put the netting up, say a 10-foot net that wouldn't, the wind wouldn't disturb it, so that the balls can't, it would make it more difficult for the balls to go into the play
Area.
area, yeah.
So question for you, when you play lacrosse, and you've been doing lacrosse for a long time, and the motion of the flow goes left and right, or let's say from the river towards Central Street, how much side shots does that happen all the time, that the ball would tend to go directly perpendicularly heading towards the tot lot, or is that not, it'd be more going forward than backward?
Any shot could hurt.
Okay.
So, let me put it that way. With the older kids, the ball is moving around in any type of
Okay.
fashion. Majority of the shots are going in what I would say is an east-west towards Central
Yeah,
Street
yeah.
and towards
Yeah.
the back of the fields, or as I would say, north-south versus east-west in terms of orientation of the field. So there is there, but it was some type of fencing would minimize.
Yeah, and I think that just having that net up for both soccer and.
It's something, if you think about it this way, if the lacrosse is playing on field 1, the cars are parked there, and that's gonna be about the same distance.
Mhm.
So it's an attractive nuisance. It's part of the detriment of bringing cars to a ball area, but, the town has insurance for something like that.
So
And-
you thinking 4-foot chain link, and then with extended poles
Yeah.
for temporary fence in season?
In season.
So who would be the extender?
We would volunteer and hold it up for,
No, I think the
Hours
problem
at a
is,
time.
probably put it up at the beginning of the season.
yeah.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
Yeah.
And then take it
So
down.
it's not just
and
like
so-
an incidental, it's
Yeah.
like up for the season?
Yeah.
down for
Yeah.
the season,
Okay.
and, yeah.
I mean, I've seen them at baseball fields, like municipal baseball fields, where they basically have, it's like a draw shade, where they can go like this and pull it up and it stays up, or drop it down a little bit, so. I see lots out there.
And Chris also spoke, which I thought was a great idea, about putting in some trees.
Yeah.
We talked about some grants that you could possibly apply for, and possibly, obviously depending upon everything, but put some sort of tree for shade structures and whatnot as well.
Whether it's trees or some type of, and that's why the plan going forward,
Yeah, I
going
think
into more
that's
of the
on
detail,
his-
but the idea of bringing shade to that
Yeah.
area, even if it's a man-made structure specifically for the top lot, or whatever age group said put in there, so that there is that more comfort, as we all know how hot things can get in the summer.
Maybe in that email to James, you could hold him in on I'm just thinking that's gonna affect the guys cutting the grass at this point.
Yeah, get his input onto
People
any
putting
type of stage
obstacles out
structure.
there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Well, I mean, it will cut,
It will have to be grassed around the
yeah,
fence.
it
or-
will cut their work down, because whatever that rectangle is, there won't be grass.
It's not gonna be
it'll
grass.
solid, so.
It'll be less surface
Just so he knows
area,
what we're
but
talking
greater
about.
work, because they're gonna have to get off the tractors and
Like
weed
we
whack
would,
around it.
yeah.
And we can look at what type of tree, depending on the size, where it's located, but maybe bring them in early so they can look at structures. Because some trees are slower growing, but they give greater shade, some are,
I think those two things specifically, that there's gonna be trees, there's gonna be a fence. And the third thing would be, when we were talking about parking, like, if we could open up that back.
Back's open all the time,
Yeah,
and no one uses it. Today, I drove by
Yeah,
on
that-
Saturday, and it was just.
Just to bring Courtney up to speed, so in the plans, I'm sure we all have copies of them floating around somewhere. There was that back area, we asked for Chris to extend like some parking spots. I think it
It's
was.
actually like a dirt road that comes
Right
Yeah, yeah,
around
yeah.
here and then comes up and goes
See,
down.
see
the
this
hill.
little, like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
and people park over there, but to call out and call out to find additional parking.
Right, like back, right.
Yeah.
Right, right, right,
And then
okay.
Chris also talked about, see how he has like, these I think were trees on the
Right.
plan, and this was like a shade or a artwork
Shade
structure.
structure, yeah.
But he talked about, extending the walkway so it's more defined. So he, basically, it was kind of good to see it.
Yeah,
And
Get a better sense of where
touch it,
things
if you
are.
will.
yeah,
I don't know if that was what you'd be referring to. Chris did indicate he was considering adding around the loop. As it currently is, it goes around 5A and 5B along the wall and comes all the way around. Adding a spur that would connect between field 3 and 5A and 5B, so you can either go straight down,
Yeah, straight down here.
yeah.
oh, sure, yeah,
Yeah.
mhm,
And,
like a path,
Yeah,
path, you mean?
A path. Well, and it's something to talk to our users to see if it's gonna have any impact about how they set up fields. I know soccer
Right.
does a good job of moving their goals and field location, even if it's only by 10 yards, so any one spot doesn't get overused, and just so that they still have that, that option. I don't see that path as being as essential as the one that goes around it, but, you know, you would like to add that. He is gonna add the walkway that we went through, that point piece, as well as the, where the old connector was to the upland piece that we didn't go on, at the bottom of the tarmac, where the extra lighting is kept. There used to be a bridge over to an uplands, and there's a path around, 2 paths around there as well. That'd be nice to get that as
Yeah.
part of the
Yeah, cause that's like
system.
really.
We did not go, and I think most of us have done it at some point. We've walked from this campus to the Triton Regional Complex. There, you cross a small stream, that's the bridge I was been talking about for eons, along a path into, behind Triton, by the, between the 2 softball fields.
Yeah, there's like a boardwalk at least has started back there, and then it just ends, and then we're just in like muck for
Did you,
a long time.
talking about this, have you made the track this year from Triton to the fields?
Yes.
Were there certain areas that was really, because this is like as wet as it's ever gonna get?
There was a period of time recently that I know it was like completely unusable.
Okay.
But then recently, I think it's not been that bad.
Okay,
Because I think I heard that some kids have been going back and forth,
okay.
but there was a period where like you could not.
Okay.
You could not.
So the idea is develop that, not develop is the wrong word, but provide the necessary structures to make it more accessible. Because for those who don't know, part of the idea was to be able to host large events where you could have some of the, you could have 5 games going on up at Central Street and 5 games going down, like a soccer tournament. Now they go out to, was it Lancaster? Where they have like 23
Yeah.
soccer fields in one location, and this was, yeah, it's
It's huge,
huge,
yeah.
and that's owned by
Any
Mass.
softball fields there?
Well, Mass Soccer owns it.
Oh.
They went out and they bought it, and they said, we're putting in, I don't know how many turf fields are out there.
There's a few of them. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think 4 maybe.
Yeah, I think that's,
Wow.
so and I know programs in Newton will drive up there for practices. So the whole idea was we can do a lot more. There was a lacrosse tournament there that utilized both sets about 7-8 years ago. But that walkway was not conducive.
Yeah, it'd be nice if that was, because we said parking and walking and coming across.
I don't know if people heard me when I was talking to.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
If I have the power, bless you. We talked about the walkway, about the path itself, maybe integrating fitness equipment along the way, simple, low cost,
This is the one around.
all around, so that you could go and then you might have a bar where you can do dips, you know, set up for different heights and ADA accessible, chin-ups, step-ups, and all these things that could be added one piece at a time.
Yeah, once the path is established.
Once it passed, and it's like, okay, this year we have money to do 2, what 2 do we want? We want here and here. So along the way, people can at their choosing. Years ago, the permit holders were like, this would be great, because our kids can come up here on their free time. and do a path and get more fitness in. And parents could do it as well.
I'd love to do that with my.
There was also discussion about the dog park and maybe a location, but right now I think that the cost would be, because we'd have to fill to get it level. So I think that that was sort of.
Yeah, I think he's just gonna put it on the plan and we
Yeah,
can decide.
yeah.
Well,
what-
that was for the, he was looking at the area behind, at the, what was it called, the east end or the, you guys are going north-south.
Yeah.
At the northern end, to put in the, a smaller field.
No.
That was the one he was talking
It
about
might be
filling in.
slightly different
Okay, okay,
than this one.
all right,
But it's basically the same, yeah.
And then the other one was, what wasn't included, and the DPW hasn't been doing it the last couple of years, and maybe you can ask them in your phone call, is to, in years past, I would ask them at the end of the season, when their blades are worn and chewed up, to make a wide enough path. Many of us brought our kids to that field, Mantor Field, to sled. I don't know if anybody else has. And now it's overgrown, and sledding is it's not enjoyable. And people have tried sledding down that pathway that would lead to the Triton Complex, but you're out of sight, and it's a long walk from where you can park, because that doesn't get plowed. They've tried this Deceptic Hill, and there's just not enough momentum. So if we could ask DPW to clear a big swath at the end of their season before they take their equipment off the road.
I will send the request in.
For sledding purposes.
Yeah,
Did he talk about what the walking path, like the surface would be? Would it just be like gravel, pavement? Has that even gotten there?
It's one of the specifics that's really in general about the master plan is how do we jumpstart it?
so a lot of the stuff, like the walk path, you know, it may just be, I don't know, we'll have to wait until he fine tunes it, but sometimes when we did the basketball court, it was like, okay, we have a basketball court, what does everybody want? And so it was like rubber, yes, no, can we just do asphalt to save money? And it may be the same thing, and maybe it's just a cell pack that
Yeah,
goes around.
Well, it could be anything, right? It could be asphalt. I think he said that distinctly. He called out, it could be asphalt, it could be wood, right? You could build a whole wooden thing, as long as it's ADA and have the, like the, I don't wanna call them bumpers, but.
Curbs.
Curbs, if you will. He spoke about that in July. I have a weird memory.
I thought that was more for the other walkways.
I interpreted, my
Okay.
understanding was he meant the whole thing, but perhaps he
Yeah.
did. But he talked about asphalt, he talked about gravel, he talked about a couple of different things. But it wasn't anything set in stone.
Yeah, I didn't know if he brought
And
it up.
sort of like his shade structures, he said, you can use this, you can use this, you can
Right.
do this. There's multiple, yeah, here it is, right here. So this is what he talked about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why his illustrations, so. That's my recollection. And then he talked about the artwork. If you,
Yeah. Yeah, we do have that.
yeah,
I just didn't know if he brought up anything.
no, he didn't bring up specifics.
No, I think some of that is a matter of the concept, which I think we should vote on tonight to move it to the next stage. And then have him develop more refined as well as a price list of these different attributes that we want to add to it. So with the path, how much would a wood or Trek type surface cost? And then we can start looking at versus a wood chip type product versus was it Cinderstone?
Yeah, sill pack.
Sill
Sill pack
pack.
is cheap.
And
it
okay,
gets it
so we
going.
have to look at the cost, what is the replacement cost, how does that impact other uses, what pieces of equipment, how much is everything cost, and, you know, look at the menu and see how much is it all gonna cost at any one time.
We may want filet, but we may have to go for something a little less.
Yeah. I
Call it
mean,
filet.
So,
Just saying.
so something like I don't know, if we're doing sill pack, then they just keep it leveled with the rest of the grass, and then I think it's probably a fairly easy transition for their lawnmowers to cut.
Yeah.
But, you know, let's discuss it.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, What did you want to vote on tonight?
I think we should vote to have Chris get the next plan to the select board to bring them up to speed to where we're at, to see if there's any, you know, I hate to do all this work and have them say no.
No, but you want to bring them this, you want to basically you're.
The concept.
The basic concept to the select board.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
And at least they'll have.
They know where we're going
Yeah.
and they can.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because that's part of the whole thing, to set up a vision of
Absolutely.
what
I
this.
think we have a general vision. I think we've done a lot of discussion about it. I completely agree with
And as we all can agree, not everything on that plan is gonna happen. Some may get
It's a
put someplace
plan,
else,
it's a
but
start.
I think right now, the playground is what people
Yep.
wanna focus in on.
Because of money and funding, because if we sleep on it, then we lose it.
Yeah.
And that may be one of those things, if we get it to the select board, and then get to that point, let them know what we have planned, then come back and figure out from him generally if it's gonna be cost range from 270 to 350, where we have to fill in the gaps, and how we have to do
Or-
it.
Or wherever.
Or we
don't
just get
exactly
what we
know.
can with
Yeah.
that piece
Yeah.
and work around everything else.
I just know that costs go up, and yeah, we're
Always.
gonna, so like if we're.
Nothing comes down.
Yeah, if we're on top of it, we can find grants and we're ahead of the game.
Exactly.
Then, that's a good thing.
Grant writing is always a
All right,
good
all right, Mark, you can make that
I
one.
make a proposal, we bring to this select board a concept proposal played by Hunters and Associates on our vision for 81 Central Street, recognizing that everything on it that's being proposed is not necessarily going to be on there, but just get some concepts going.
Yeah, more informational. Second,
Second.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Okay, master plan, done. Pickleball update.
Is this still old business?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pickleball update. Still there?
Still
Still
there?
Your serve.
I serve, yeah. Yeah. We gotta figure out how to move that court.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about it. Okay.
I don't, it's not moving anymore. The pins are out.
So the question is, I think that when we talked, or I had a conversation with someone that the installers of that, whether it was the group that you dealt with, the painting, I think when I originally talked to him, I think that either Chris was gonna discuss it with him or whatever, to bring that up, the fact that it moved, and something probably, maybe there's something that they can do on their end without having to go to DPW.
Last thing I talked to Sport Court about.
Okay.
He was gonna talk to his installers.
Okay.
Because all these ideas are floating around about putting a piece of material underneath so it's
Yep.
not as slippery and
Yep.
stuff. But I've almost evolved into, you know what, this thing's gonna move.
Yep.
And if we need, what are they, come abouts?
Come-along?
Come-alongs,
Yep.
you know, if you put like 3 or 4 of them.
Yep.
And you just say
Six
4
of them.
bodies or 6 bodies instead of, we gotta get the entire.
1, 2, 3,
highway.
pull. 1, 2, 3.
Well, well.
Yeah, it's essentially that, you know.
Yeah,
four
and I mean,
bullets
it's gotta be some number as opposed to getting the entire,
Soccer team,
that's not a bad idea.
There you go.
and that's a possibility.
But if there was something with come-alongs,
Yeah.
and there were 4 of them, and just, you put a couple pieces of plywood and just give it a, that might be easier than, I mean, the last thing we're at was boring holes and
Yeah, no.
using some kind of.
Yeah, I'd like to just have, you know, was it Sport Court?
Yeah, and again, we had gone back and forth when we were doing the W9, so that's how old that is. Probably 6 weeks ago, and I think James was sitting waiting for that to come back from them before he,
Yeah, figure it
because
out.
I'm sure he's willing to do anything, but I'm sure he'd rather have a professional.
He'd
do it as
rather.
well, yeah. And that cleat problem, that doesn't seem to have gotten any worse, so.
They're still scratching it.
There's like dense.
Yeah, it actually, it looks like a
A
cleat.
cleat.
This is just someone's using cleats on the.
Cleat on the court, yeah.
Is it the same cleat pattern or is it new?
Size is
Like, I mean,
seven
Oh, there's not any
male.
new.
That's what I mean, that's what I mean. Like,
Yeah,
it's
no,
not-
it's the same,
Yeah,
right? There's no
it's-
new spots.
No, I
Yeah, yeah.
it was an update. I mean, I haven't seen it get worse, because
No.
at one point in time, we talked about the size.
I also,
Yeah.
like, part of me wonders if they see it and go, no.
Oh, no, I
You
hope
know?
so.
Probably.
But I
It
mean,
was
they're-
certainly not on
they run
purpose.
more than one hoop. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah,
that's
that
not a
was my-
pickleball issue, that's
Yeah.
just a field thing.
Yeah, and it's the same.
And just, something that just occurred to me, I know we've talked about it, but I've never seen it involved with the master plan, that defibrillator, putting a defibrillator outside.
So police and fire a while ago, this was when the previous police chief was in place, they had applied for grants, and the previous fire chief, so we have new.
Yeah.
I can double check with them, they had applied for a grant to get sort of townwide new defibrillators, and I
Well, 'cause
believe they were
well,
going to post
but
one.
what I'm talking about is like, what the beach thing is gonna
Right, I think
have.
they were gonna do one outside at the field house, but
Yes.
I'll double check.
Yeah,
Yeah, we looked into it, at that point in time, the grants had run out,
yeah.
I think it was like $1,000 a piece or something.
something like that.
Yeah.
And the concern was, the response time to the field was under 10 minutes. That people would be running, instead of calling 911 right away, they'd be running for the defibrillator and not calling 911, and by the time they get to the defibrillator and back,
I think if you go to defibrillator school, the first thing they tell you to do is don't run for the defibrillator. Call
well, yeah, well, any
Yeah,
first aid
yeah,
people will say,
yeah.
first thing you
Yeah.
do, you know, somebody's drowning, call 911.
But, and the thing at the beach was, because the cell service is unreliable out there.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing, if you're out there and you have, you know, if a dog owner goes down and no one's got their phones, I think the setup at the beach was, it was a hard line to the fire department,
Yeah.
and they would send the code to open
When
the
Well,
case.
yeah.
Oh, so
I
that's.
think it would be great
So-
if they can get it for us.
I'll double check.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, I mean, it should be,
Yeah, we had this discussion years ago. Part of the things were, I think that we were talking about maybe having like a person on duty, a student on duty that took the course on CPR and defibrillation, so that that person was just hanging out, and if anything were to happen, you know, we had a person on duty, but that never.
well, it's the other comment I'd make, is that we're gonna be putting big lollipop on that building too, that there's kids there in the afternoon, and there's no supervision. I mean, it's just, they're just hanging out, which is cool, it's great. They're running around the green grass playing, but,
I mean, there are AEDs at Triton that are like seemingly unlocked, and I mean, there are more supervised
Yeah.
people, but.
but it's gotta be cameras
I
in
mean,
the hallway, right?
nobody-
There's
Okay.
three of them. There's three of them outside. They
Yeah.
they showed all of us where they are.
Yeah. Are the cameras on them though, like, if someone would have fooled
Yeah.
them?
Maybe one of them. I don't know if all three of them are,
Yeah.
are supervised. They're in weird spots.
I have a note from last meeting about water bottles outside plumbing costs. I don't know.
That's, I think that's
That's on my list here.
on my,
I
it was on my
amended
list,
this,
yeah.
yeah.
All right, as long as it's on tonight's list,
yeah.
just I forget why I wrote it down.
Well, we had pictures
filling
of it, we had
station, right?
people like, it was like
What's
Flat
that?
Sam.
Filling station, the water
From
bottle
across
filling
the globe,
station.
here's all the
That
dog
one.
water. Sorry, I shouldn't have said dog.
That's
It's okay.
Cats,
It's okay. I can.
cat watering station.
I can deal with it. It's okay.
So pickleball is good?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, ping pong update? Have you
So
seen
I
it?
am just, I have not purchased the ping pong tables yet, but they are, it's in process.
In process, okay.
How much should they wind up being?
I think they're about 400.
All right.
I'm within my limit. You
No, I
can-
know you're
Yeah.
here. I was just kind of curious, because
Yeah.
we talked about 300, 400,
Yeah.
holding this.
Yeah, we're not going like high end.
So, good.
Do you want, I mean, it's just kicking the can down the road, do we want to let Cindy launch before we consider some
Yeah.
other rec?
Yeah.
See how it goes.
Yeah,
Mm. How many tables are you getting? 2? Yeah.
only, I'm certain two will fit. Someone was talking about a miniature ping pong table that they have, and they would loan. This is that little L,
What do they mean a miniature?
it's the smaller version.
Yeah. Just a smaller surface.
The other thing I was thinking of, is like the ones that you can just paddle to yourself.
Well, that's,
Yeah, that just flips up like
Right.
that.
that's my master plan, which is we buy a third table and leave that up in that
Half
corner.
up and then you
can
just-
go
And you play against yourself, see if you win?
Listen, you're practicing for when you.
I was a lonely
Right.
child.
Hey, that's how Forrest Gump got good.
There you go.
go.
We could only do it with pickleball.
Well, let's get to two, and if we need to get a third.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
again, it's just, I envision this, when you talked about extended hours, that was the aha moment for me is, as long as someone's at the field house and the ping pong table's out, then if it's just someone it's like a rink rat, someone just goes and plays hockey all the time.
So I know at the Y, a lot of the pickleball players will come, and if they're not playing, they'll go against the wall and just,
That's hard to do, I'm impressed.
well, they're showing off.
There's one in Georgetown that's on the back wall, and someone hit a lob over my head once, and I tried to get it off it would have been a magic moment, but
See, you gotta rephrase that. It was a magic moment. I made this great shot, 'cause we don't know.
I did, well, that's true, there's no video.
Did, was it last meeting we talked about extending that out, opening up the field house? Those from like 7 to,
For the
These bathrooms, yeah.
the bathrooms, yes. Did we do
So
that?
I don't know if that's happened.
You're supposed to let DPW know.
That would be my mistake. That was,
7 to 8.
I
Monday
look at
through
my
Friday.
list.
Because when I go, it's always locked when I go in the morning, so.
Yeah.
But now we're reaching the end of the season, so.
yeah.
Do we just
I
wait
think
till
we
the
were waiting
spring?
on that.
There's no end to dog walking season.
Well, that's true.
No, I think we
We've
were,
had beta testing this plan to see how it goes.
yeah.
So that we
What's his
knew
name, the kid?
how it will go once it gets busy again.
So do you want me to ask about
Opening
opening?
it from 7 AM to 8
It
PM,
says-
Monday through Friday.
Yeah, 7 to 8, yeah, Monday through Friday.
Yeah, we were gonna try it and just see how it went.
Yeah.
And I was thinking more of the dog walkers in the morning.
Somebody,
And they are
actually,
there all the
somebody
time.
today mentioned it to me. I said, I have a rec committee meeting tonight, and they live in Byfield, and they were like, oh.
It'd be nice to have
It's always
bathrooms open.
closed or something like that.
See,
And I was
yeah.
like, well, we
But
were.
Mark's right, like, bike, people riding bikes, that would be
You
very,
could just stop there.
And that, it's been years since I've dealt with that, but that lock is something they can set by
It's supposed to be on
time.
timer.
Okay, all right,
If
I'll
that
ask.
was the note from
pretty
last
sure
time.
it is on timer.
All right,
Yeah, I think they do that for the afternoon for when soccer and stuff is there.
Okay.
But if they can do it earlier for the whole day, like earlier, like 7.
Yeah,
right?
7 to 8,
But,
we had said, Monday through
are
Friday.
we putting a limit on this, like, till
So,
like a certain
instead,
date?
because now it's getting really dark early, people aren't walking their dogs there late, right?
Mm.
No.
Maybe we do a 7A to 5P?
I would
So
think
the
that.
soccer's gonna be there right now
Till
until,
when?
So
when I
the
went by
reason why
there
we said
7:30.
8 PM was because of soccer.
Soccer.
Right.
And soccer's
So-
still there with the lights on.
So why
Till
don't
8
we,
o'clock?
yeah, so
Yeah.
why don't we stay till 8
Still do it
and
until the end of
see
the
how
season.
it,
Yeah.
We'll just run it out for a little bit.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right, I'll throw it out there and see what he thinks.
Sure.
All right,
but we said 8 PM because
7
of
to 8,
soccer.
yeah.
Because of them.
Yes.
And we said 7A because of the dog walk.
Yes.
okay.
And people still, it's still light in the morning, so,
Yeah,
I go off my flashlight.
yeah,
but people are there all the time.
all the time.
It's a nice
I
area.
was just gonna say, it's a nice spot.
Wait a second, what's a nice area spot? Just the field?
Yeah, for walking their
Oh,
dogs.
oh, okay.
There's always a group of, it's like a meeting.
No,
Well,
there's
there is
regular,
one that-
there's regular meeting.
Yeah.
There's
It's neat.
clearly, yeah.
It's,
Sometimes the dogs come over and greet us when we're setting up the nets. They're a very friendly group.
You should have like dog biscuits in the budget,
We should.
maybe you should.
I have those in the COA.
Marrowbones, they live there.
They do.
There, sorry.
good.
So 7 to 8,
7A to 8P, let's.
7 AM to 8 PM.
I get 7 to 8 PM.
Yeah.
Good, yeah.
You might get some pushback on that too.
I bet.
You might not.
I'll find out.
We're making it available for
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, but I mean, there's always comments about the condition of the building.
Yeah, I know, but
Well, I see that talk about.
we're like dangling a carrot, right? You have to go, and you're like, oh, the bathroom's right there. And
And we can't
I
get.
can't get in there. That's tough.
I mean, you can't. And you
I can.
Yeah.
You can.
I mean, is the condition because of use, normal use and?
Yes,
Or is it people abusing it?
no,
If
I
it's
don't
normal
think people are
use,
doing
then,
it. It's just,
you know, it happens, it's part of the, it's like getting sand in the bathrooms at the beach.
right.
Correct.
There's sand comes in, you go to the beach, there's sand in the car.
Right.
You know,
And we're
there's-
trying to rectify it a little bit, right, like the grass, those
The kid-
things that you,
The cleat
The
thing.
scraper.
yeah, yeah,
I saw a kid using
That's
it the
full
other
of
day, I was very
grass.
impressed, yeah.
Yeah.
All
but you're
right,
still gonna get grass inside.
okay, I'll send it off to him. Okay, so that, was that the ping pong update? Did we through that, or was that
Yeah, we're good.
pickleball?
That, and we.
Ping pong, okay. Separate line item.
Haven't been able to meet with Tracy and Alicia the last couple of weeks now to talk.
Oh, yes,
about-
yes.
About seeing what, you know, the process and what they need from us to make that happen.
Yeah. Which would basically sort of spurn on or to develop maybe a summer program or something like that.
To do anything that is not within our current restriction, which is Kent Way and
Central
81
Street.
Central Street.
Okay.
Including programming, development.
Which also could include Central Street, but it would be programming development, which I don't know if we have the ability to do at this
Taking
point.
this supposed to be for the field and, yeah.
Yeah. All right, new business.
No, what about the?
Yeah, I asked that we bring that up because if we wait too long on this, I know it's not on the agenda, I'm asking that we put it in because I think there's time sensitivity if we want to move forward with this.
On what?
On the water.
What about the?
Oh, yes,
water
yes.
Bubbler, because it's gonna come a time when we can't, the ground's gonna be frozen and they're not gonna be able to do anything.
Yeah, we talked about it in September and October.
Is it supposed to be inside or outside?
Well, there was one proposal, you know, one item that we looked at, that was brought forth about having one outside that had a dog component to it. I sent pictures out of the one in Ipswich for people to review, or there was one inside. And,
To change up the existing inside to be more friendly for,
for bottles. And I don't know what the group wants to do with that. If it's one outside, there'd be more movement, or we'd have to wait till spring.
we talked about plumbing costs too.
Yeah,
And
plumbing,
the
plumbing
whole
electric
idea
product.
was to get the,
Yeah.
in order to move forward, we need to get the costs to bring to the town administrator so that they can look at it and move forward with it. So the cost of the interior setup, taking the current one and replacing it with one that has the bottle is about anywhere from $1,700 to $2,500 plus plumbing costs. Were you able to get any numbers?
Yeah,
in?
it's around $1,000, and I would just be safe with, because.
To install?
Yeah.
So we're looking at less than 4,000 to put it there. Inside, there's gonna be more, or outside, that unit was substantially more expensive to
Yeah,
do
that was what,
both.
$8,000 or something?
Something like that.
That's what I remember, the number,
From Wayfair.
from
Yeah.
$8,000.
It was from Wayfair, yeah.
Plus,
But if we keep the door open,
And people can go in and
people
access.
can go
it.
in.
Yeah,
So
I think that
I,
makes
No,
sense.
I.
kind of makes sense to do the one inside.
Yeah.
and
No,
then
absolutely.
Think about the one
I-
outside.
In fact, I move that we do the inside, convert the inside one, see if we can get that done.
yeah, I think that,
I think people get skeeved out when they look at a bubbler now, but.
yes,
Yeah.
no one uses it.
But people use the, people,
Right.
people
Yeah.
use the
That's,
water
yeah, but you're not
filler.
using like the
Yeah.
old fashioned
Yeah.
water bubbler.
Yeah, no, those are out of style.
Yeah, and if they do the bubbler inside, then you fill up your water bottle, you come out and, I carry my own.
Well, you wouldn't want your dog licking out of the
No.
bottom thing, right?
Communal thing.
Me? No.
I would-
I'm
That's
a
for
little strict.
dogs? I thought you were little kids.
So, no, I
I would
don't
bring-
necessarily,
well,
I have my own bowl
right, right.
for my dog, I'm a little.
my dog is the dirtiest puddle.
Yeah, my dogs will do that too. Well, you met the puppy, so the puppy's, you know.
Yeah.
It's a special
So
dog.
John had a
It is special
motion
dog.
out there. Do you want to finish your motion?
No, that's the motion, let's move to convert the inside water bubbler to.
How much money do you want to allocate?
You think 4?
I think 4.
Should we do?
Safely 5?
5, just to be safe?
Mm-hmm.
And then
Sure.
We can always come under, right?
Doesn't have to be gold, stainless steel is fine.
Yeah. Will you pick out a model, and?
No, let the plumber do it.
No, we have to go with
We have to go in with,
Yeah.
here's
Just a-
what we, here is the model, make and model we want. With
I took a picture when
refrigeration,
they report COA.
with
They have-
refrigeration and filtration.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the filter.
And then we'll, going forward, we just need to have
Well,
in our budget.
why don't we wait, well, I mean, we could,
Well, let's make the motion, and then that way we have it done, and then we can, I'll just wait on the bill.
filtration might be a little tricky, that's all.
Filtrations are pretty basic, it's just those little cartridges now.
Yep.
We don't need to do a whole system filtration. It's like what am I thinking of, your ice maker.
Yeah, they're easy. Try and use.
Yeah.
Triton has
Like
these,
changing
right?
oil.
Yeah, they have all the filters and they switch them out all the time.
Yeah.
ELKAY.
That's what I just saw.
Yeah, I feel like they're good.
Stainless steel, one basic,
But this one
motion
has a
sensor.
good one, this has a bubbler, which we didn't want that. It has the water, this is a
You could
report
have-
COA. We could get rid of this piece.
Or
and just
keep
take-
that so that anybody doesn't have a
A
bottle.
bottle, you wanna,
Yeah, that's true.
you wanna
Yeah.
have both.
Or is it easy to just put cups there?
No, you don't want
No.
those, because then you have trash and whatever,
Yeah.
so.
You kids.
Yeah, I know at the
Don't
Y,
know
and
each
Switch, that's what they have. Most kids have the bottle, adults have the bottles, you go in.
If you don't, you have the bubble part, and not a lot of people, most people
Most
have.
people aren't gonna use that.
Yeah, most people have,
Or to fill your dog bowl.
or I have my own dog bowl.
Yeah, $1,250 has both the bubbler and the water filler, the
Yeah.
same unit.
But that's just for the unit, that's not for plumbing.
No.
Yeah.
So I think 5,000
5,000
is
should be
more than,
Yeah,
So-
the lines are already in place, and it's just a matter of adapting them. Okay.
yeah.
Is there a regular plumber that the town uses? or-
We could ask.
Yeah.
So
Stuff
where
like
does
this.
where would this go, other than, isn't James like the director of the?
We would work with
buildings?
DPW to secure those services, and we would pay for them. Because that way he could supervise and provide access and all
All
that.
right, so I'm gonna put that in, it's gonna be a,
You've got a big list there, Dave.
I know.
Dave, you have quite an email going
this
to.
is the Gettysburg Address, this has turned into. one of
No
the-
longer is it a coffee meeting, it's lunch.
Because he's usually good with like,
I will second that we allocate up to $5,000 to secure a new bubbler system that allows for filtration and refrigeration at the field house, and to replace it, the current one.
any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed? I guess it's done.
It's done.
Okay. Separate line item, we already talked about water bottle, we did. Traction move suspended service at the end of November.
And I will call Mello tomorrow and ask them to suspend our service at the end of November.
When is soccer on, or right now?
Around this time, so I usually just do it by the month, we're not gonna save that
And
much money.
Has anyone had any kind of feedback on if that thing's filling or not, like?
It looks pretty good every day I've been on there.
Yeah.
It's not
What's-
overflowing or
But is
anything.
it, are we getting lawn chairs and furniture
No.
and stuff
No.
like that the way we were before?
No.
There's some random things in there, but nothing.
Okay,
Somebody might clean out a car,
okay,
and if you see how some of the cars I've been in.
yeah,
It's a lot, but generally it's not overflowing, it's not household trash.
okay, 'cause we had that problem before.
So when does that start back up in April?
April 1st.
Yeah.
There's a lot of green bags in there.
Yeah.
First pickup.
Well, and that's why we're leave it there, and there's a little bump in it. The main thing is we have to ask DPW to lock it so that the household trash doesn't go back in there. That's when the problem
Yep.
is really occurring. Because if Mello picks it up on Wednesday morning, if whomever is doing the household trash came in early Wednesday morning, dumped it, Mello would come in and remove it, so we wouldn't necessarily see it. But during the winter, it's gonna become more obvious, so if you could ask them to put the gate up and lock it securely, that would be really helpful.
Okay.
And that would be, beginning on whatever that last Wednesday of the month.
of this,
Yeah.
29.
That's the 28th, yeah.
I'm not gonna ask him anything ever again. All right,
Are they green bags there?
I have not seen them, but there were last year, so.
What was your
green,
question?
green bags, is that the
Is there
dog
like a
waste?
dog waste disposer?
No, we don't supply bags or smaller containers because there was an issue of disposing of that bag.
Yeah, no, that's what I was
Yeah.
referring to, like, if we don't pick up the trash and everybody's using it.
Well, with the size of the, was it 10 yard? It won't get more than a quarter way filled. And it provides, I mean, we can always,
I want some over-under action on that one.
Yeah. Well, let's put it this way, in years past, it never came close. It was the household trash. If we need to have an emergency pickup, they can pick it up the Wednesday after I call.
Yep.
So it's
Oh,
not a
that's
problem.
true, yeah,
So the idea is we don't need a weekly pickup.
correct.
And it's not that expensive to begin with.
I don't have anything else on new business.
Date and time of the next meeting?
I have a quick question. I have not seen a bill for Chris Huntress.
That's because we are not paying for it.
Okay,
And also he hasn't finished it yet. That comes from ARPA funds, from what I understand.
okay.
Or maybe there's an administrative cost, but it may circle
does-
around to us, but he is,
That's okay.
I think when the. when
You
the-
should still get a bill, like an invoice, though,
Yeah.
right? And then you just pull it from the ARPA money. There's a special account for that. Like when
Yeah.
I use ARPA funds, I still submit my bill
I know, but
Yeah.
it's kind of odd.
that you haven't gotten.
I haven't seen anything.
Yeah, because I don't think he's done yet.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously we'll pay him, but I just wanted to
No, I think
throw it out.
we're on a.
So I don't know if to add to your emails, or if I could email him, would,
About what,
I
about,
think that's a Tracy question.
yeah.
When to expect.
Isn't there history on that? Like,
do we?
Oh,
You
so
remember?
they just go
Like
directly to
2018
that
town
office,
meeting
not
or
go
something?
through us
Say that
at
again?
all.
Wasn't that
So
like
do
something
you wanna
that
ask
came up
Tracy,
through town meeting?
or do you want?
About what?
I'm okay with
Hiring
doing that.
Huntress,
I
isn't
just
that like a
don't know if there's a
2018
bill
town meeting?
out there somewhere.
I'm dreaming.
If you
I'm
want to
No,
ask the
we-
person who's
we-
handling the finance.
we used
it'd be
him
appropriate
for-
you to ask.
Okay, I can
It's
ask.
the
The
original.
basketball court.
Yeah.
He was using the original one. We used him, I got his name through the city of Salem, and I called him, and he said, I did all the plans for, and I had no idea. You might have known that I just did it.
Yeah.
I didn't. And so, we asked him about the basketball, he goes, yeah, it's a piece of cake, because he didn't have to go through all the conservation,
measuring, yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
So it saved us a ton of money, and he's been,
So I'm gonna, just so that everyone heard, I'm gonna email Tracy just to see,
you gonna take care of that?
I'm gonna take care of that, how's
Alright.
that? When, maybe next week though.
Right, I assume that we won't say anything until he's done.
I would think so, but I just,
I don't think it's something that he has to.
Yeah, you could figure out like the left side of the keyboard if you could.
yeah,
type
I'm
it
really
out.
good with the left side. I actually use all the keys too, I remember, I use my
It's
typewriter.
like a
keys.
major Wordle. You
Yeah.
can only use the letter something.
All right, before we close this out and pick a date for next time, right now I have enlightening lock for kitchen on the field house kitchen door. Enlight him on the playground location where it's gonna be, maybe throw in some, maybe some trees and stuff like that. Cutting the grass for sledding.
Yeah.
I'll talk to him about Sport Court New England and the movement. I'll probably call them and then talk to him and see what we can figure. Have them reset the locks from 7 AM to 8 PM, Monday through Friday. Let him know about the water, we've approved it, the water bottle filler and filtration. Find out what the next step is for him to maybe make that happen. And then talked about locking the November dumpster. Did I forget anything?
No,
All right.
Got it all?
good for you.
All right. Date and time of next meeting. I think we already
I
picked one,
think we
didn't we?
said
did.
12:04 at
12:04 at
6.
6.
That's really good.
I might or might not make that.
Same.
Say,
But that should be okay, we'll still have quorum if everyone else can make it, right?
Yeah, if not, it's just it'll be a last minute decision on my part.
Gonna be Vegas.
That's
Warmer,
true.
warmer.
Maybe this could be
I
for
will-
next time, but just in light of the whole dog waste thing, like, have we thought about one of those?
There's a whole thing
You
with,
can't do it.
so if we got one of those, which would be great, because a lot of municipalities do, that,
That thing will fill up, I know.
not even that, it's like, I'd have to ask him to say, hey, can you get a guy to go down there and empty out? I don't know how that would go.
Yeah, I don't think that's
Yeah,
gonna.
and if you get a service to do it, it's like $75 a week. The bigger problem with those, when I've talked to places that have it, like Bradley Palmer,
Yeah.
and why Maudsley doesn't have it, is Bradley Palmer has somebody there every day to refill it. If
Oh, the bags will be gone.
Well, the idea is responsible dog owners will carry a bag
Yeah,
or
we-
bags, and if they don't, well, they're not responsible and they're not gonna pick it up anyways.
True.
And
If
responsible.
they didn't bring the bag in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's
Yeah, no
also
attention.
the amount, I would assume, and I don't know why it happens, but you go to Maudsley or something like that, where people will, bag it and then just leave it. And I know sometimes you leave it because you're
Pick it
coming
up on the way
back.
back is what they say, right?
Yeah, but a lot of
Well, maybe
times,
do that.
they've been out there for like a week or two, and
Right.
you're like, so,
My stone wall gets a lot of them.
oh, really?
Yeah, and people say, oh, I'll just get it on the way. No, you don't. I watch you walk by.
I've forgotten, and I've driven back and picked up. But yeah,
But yeah, if it was a different area, if it was like around the library, where it could be filled every day, that would be a different story.
Yeah, you have to have a
Bradley
person.
Palmer, they do that, and Maudsley, they're like,
They have staff there.
yeah, because I don't want to get to the point where DPW hates us.
Right, well, especially for that.
After this emails barrage, maybe, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
If we
because,
ask them to do
I
that,
mean, yeah.
particularly, that's.
So we're gonna work with them, because once they, if they, if we get the approval, and let's say that step 2 after doing the playground is to do the, whatever the consensus is, but let's say perchance we decide to do the walkway around the field, then we'll probably be dealing with them as far as how, what would work with them and what's
Right.
easy for them, because we don't wanna make things more difficult.
We're freeform here a little bit, right? The tot lot at the library, is that,
I know what's happening there.
not our jurisdiction.
okay?
There's a
It
tot
should
lot at the
be,
library?
yes.
There's a
Beautiful
little
one.
playground, it's been closed and everything is
Oh,
not.
it's closed?
Yes, it's
Oh,
closed.
thanks.
There's
Really?
there's a bridge type of thing that has
Mhm.
collapsed, so they won't let the kids in until it's been, a new one has been installed.
A nice 2.5-year-old keep going, playground closed at library, playground closed. I know.
We've all used it.
Bring them to a
And our
meeting.
kids too.
Yeah, I know.
If you bring them to a meeting, maybe they'll.
Yeah. Yes, I did ask but this was like weeks ago.
Well, but
So-
so someone else is fixing it.
Yeah, who
It's
funds
not-
that?
it's
Is that
not
the
up to
town?
us.
It
Is that the
used to
town?
be-
The select board touched on that, it was in the administrator's report.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get some quotes, and the parts are, the part that they need has a substantial amount,
Wow,
carries a substantial amount.
because of the weight.
And
No
if
problem.
it's part of that construction, that's why I was talking about the replacement costs of each thing. Years ago, the slide on that, kids burnt it, and this was.
The what?
The slide part.
Slide, yeah.
Kids burnt it, and the former DPW person, we can't afford to keep replacing it. So it was down, this was, I'm saying 15 years ago. It was down for most of the summer. Again, it's not our jurisdiction, and in some ways, that's recreational equipment, that should be on our jurisdiction. We have money in our budget, we could get on top of it and just be done with it.
Yeah. I learned some dirty words from that tunnel. I didn't know them.
First
You
kids.
didn't know them before?
Kids, man.
It was like 10 years ago?
Yeah. That's right, stuff. It's like I'm gonna send my daughter down this thing, like, whoa, but,
Right, so-
Library, vocabulary.
Yeah.
12-4?
So,
I'm 4 and 6.
I make a motion.
oh, we're just gonna, let's, so we're The next meeting will be December 4th at 6 PM. I motion to have that meeting night, second, on the 4th of December, I'm sorry, at 6 PM.
You don't even have to
Second.
motion, you could just.
Second.
Yeah, we're just making that motion.
Lead.
Yeah,
Lead
all
us to
right,
the-
we're in. And that's it. I think I'll call a meeting at 7:13 PM, which is really good timing.
I was hoping I would get to 8, it was 8 over there.
I know.
Wow, that's a change.
10:13.